The Jamaica Gleaner letters to the editor for July 19th, 2025. The first one, written by Robert Dalley, is titled In Support of Jury Trials. Attorney at law Bert Samuel wrote a letter to the editor on July 17th, headlined Assault on Trial by Jury, which outlined the importance of having jury trials. Jury trials are an integral part of the legal system as they provide a forum for citizens to actively participate in the determination of guilt or innocence. This reinforces public trust and confidence in the justice system. A jury ensures a fair representation of society's values and perspectives. Further, the jury system acts as a safeguard against potential abuses of power. The collective wisdom and judgment of the jury helps to uphold the principles of justice and prevent any undue influence on the outcome of a trial. The jury serves as an impartial panel that listens to the evidence presented during a trial and decides the facts of a case. While the judge presides over the trial, ensuring that the rules of law are followed, it is the jury that holds the power to decide the fate of the accused. I concur with the Director of Public Prosecutions, Paula Llewellyn, as she was quoted by the Gleaner. There are some streetwise nuances that come out in evidence that really only jurors would understand. I understand the viewpoint posited that the collective wisdom of the jury is quite superior to that of any single judge. That is the incontrovertible fact, and under no circumstances should jury trials be abolished. Samuels is absolutely correct when he writes, I would be prepared to argue that we should, for very good reasons, be advocating for the placing of trial by jury for serious offences as a new constitutional right in our constitutional reform. Chief Justice Brian Sykes is of the view that as a result of the serious and severe problems with finding jurors to serve in the courts, jury trials should be abolished. Critics of the jury system often point to the jurors' lack of legal knowledge and understanding as a significant flaw. Complex legal issues and evidence can be challenging for laypersons to comprehend fully, potentially leading to misunderstandings and incorrect verdicts. Another criticism of the jury system is the potential for bias and prejudice among jurors, which can influence verdicts. In the case of R versus Taylor and Taylor in 1993, the Court of Appeal in the United Kingdom quashed the convictions of two sisters for murder, partially because of the massive adverse publicity surrounding the trial, which could have prejudiced the jury. This case underscores the challenges in ensuring a fair trial in high-profile cases and highlights the susceptibility of jurors to external influences. The government should widen the pool and categories of persons who can serve as jurors. I am Robert Dalley. And our second letter to the editor for July 19th, 2025 is written by Newton Mpofu, and the title is Zimbabwe Plagued by Poor Infrastructure and Corruption. Driving in Zimbabwe has become increasingly dangerous and frustrating. A key factor behind the chaos is the frequent and dangerous practice of cars driving in the wrong lanes. Zimbabwe's road infrastructure has not kept pace with the rapid increase in vehicle numbers over the past 2 decades. Many roads in Harare, Bulawayo, and Mutare were built decades ago during a time when there were less cars on the roads. Today, the number of vehicles on the roads has increased significantly, but the road network has remained largely unchanged and poorly maintained. Potholes, faded markings, broken traffic lights, and missing road signs are common, making driving not only slow but hazardous. Narrow roads, often with only one lane in each direction, are quickly overwhelmed during rush hour. With no proper traffic management system in place and no significant investment in expanding or upgrading roads, motorists resort to driving in the opposite lane just to reach their destinations. Another major issue contributing to the driving chaos is a broken driver licensing system. The current state of Zimbabwe's roads and traffic management is ultimately a reflection of failed governance. The ruling party, which has been in power for over 4 decades, has largely neglected infrastructure development and public services. While billions have been lost through corruption, scandals, and mismanagement, very little has been reinvested into critical infrastructure such as road construction and maintenance. Public transport systems have deteriorated, and urban planning has failed to adapt to the changing needs of the population. I am Newton Mpofu. And our final letter to the editor, which is a letter of the day written by Lawrence Rowe, and it is entitled, Rural School Bus System Deserves Support, Not Mockery. For decades, students and families in rural Jamaica have faced persistent hardship simply trying to get to and from school. Complaints about the rural school transport system are not new. They are rooted in deep systemic issues: too few buses, high transportation costs, unsafe travel conditions, unreliable schedules, and glaring social inequities. These factors continue to undermine not only the educational prospects of our children, but the developmental potential of rural communities. Yet, instead of advancing a serious national conversation on these long-standing challenges, members of the People's National Party have chosen to ridicule recent efforts to address the rural school transport crisis. Their mockery of the rural school bus pilot program is disappointing, and frankly, it raises questions. Have these men ever had to rely on public transportation as students in Jamaica's rural areas? Do they fully understand, or even care to understand, the daily struggles of children who wake at 4 a.m. to walk miles in the dark to a roadside in hopes of catching an overcrowded, unsafe, or non-existent vehicle? Far too many of our rural students are left behind. With a shortage of taxis and minibuses, transport operators often prioritize adults who can pay higher fares. Children are sidelined, forced to walk long distances, or miss school altogether. For many families, the cost of daily transportation is prohibitive, driving some to send their children to live with relatives closer to school. Many students travel in unsafe, overcrowded vehicles or are forced to lap up among strangers. They face daily harassment, especially from unscrupulous transport operators, loaders, and even peers. They arrive at school late and exhausted, their ability to learn and perform diminished, and they return home just as weary. What are the consequences? Poor academic outcomes, rising absenteeism, and a cycle of poverty that is particularly hard to escape in rural communities. What the rural school bus system offers is not just buses. Students would have guaranteed daily transportation, improving attendance, academic performance, and safety. Children from remote areas would no longer be cut off from opportunity. The financial burden on families would be significantly reduced, with fares slashed from between $300 to $600 to $50. That difference matters to poor and working class households. Beyond affordability and access, the program introduces structure and accountability. Trained drivers and bus monitors will safeguard children on their journeys. Students will carry smart cards that log their pick-up and drop-off times, giving parents peace of mind and schools better oversight. Scheduled routes reduce travel time, allowing more time for rest, study, and extracurricular involvement. And fewer taxis and minibuses on the road means less traffic congestion and lower carbon emissions, leading to a win for public health and the environment. To ridicule such a transformative program is not just tone deaf. Instead of mocking progress, the opposition should be offering constructive solutions. They should be supporting policies that promote inclusion, youth empowerment, and national development. I am Lawrence Rowe. And that ends our lectures to the editor for July 19th, 2025. What are your thoughts?